Vic, what the hell are you doing, dude?
Checking the can, why?
Oh, alright. I'll just checking. What is up, YouTube? What's going on, guys? How are you? Alex here from Apples once again with another video about cups. Not the cups you wear for baseball or football, but shallow cup, deep cup, coilover cup, or deep reverse, however you guys want to call it. So we were doing this video because pretty much, there's a lot of stuff that, again, just like I mentioned last time, that I don't realize that, a lot of people don't know or don't understand it. And we want to make sure that it's clarified in the videos. So we want to make sure that you guys are understanding everything we're saying in these videos. And, make it easier for you guys on either future purchases or just working your car in general to make it easier for you guys. So we're going to go over all the cups. We're going to go over, this is going to be our shallow cup. Flip this guy over. So that's going to be a shallow cup right there. This is going to be a deep cup. This is a coilover cup. And this is a super deep coilover cup. It actually sits that way. So I'm going to go over each one of these and their benefits, the pros and cons on them, and pretty much go over on if you're deciding on a kit or you're looking to buy a kit in the future from us and you're trying to decide which one's going to best suit your car. Is it going to be the shallow cup? Is it going to be the super deep? Is it going to be the standard deep? That's why we're doing that. So we're doing this so you can figure out exactly what will work best for you and save you some possible money, or save you some possible money from spending double in the future and buying the wrong one in the first place and then buying the right one the second time. So that's the reason why we're doing this. So pretty much in our kits, this is going to be our example, our sample piece. This is just a standard 1-ton coil that we're going to use. This is going to be the standard shallow cup. The shallow cup is going to be used for front and rear applications. But if you notice here, so this is the way it sits normally. Normally it would sit something similar to this right here. You would have your donut that's going to slide over here, and the donut would sit right about the top of the nut. And that's going to keep the cylinder from shooting to the top of the car. So the shallow cup itself is going to be what is found in most kits. It's going to be found in most of our basic kits. And we do that, and honestly we do that. That way you're able to get a kit at a cheaper cost. And if you're just laying and playing and cruising, this is going to be great for you. Now there's a few reasons why you shouldn't go this route, and you should go to other routes depending on what you plan on doing with the car. So as you can see here, the shallow cup only sits, about an inch, half an inch, or it's about a half an inch into the actual coil itself. So you can really see it's just that first ring. If you're laying, playing, cruising, you could actually do a shallow cup all the way around. There's really nothing wrong with it. If you're just lifting the car up, dropping it down, you're gonna be fine. And again, this is gonna come in most of our kits as a standard cup. There is a few kits that we sell that have the deep cup and the coilover cup in there. Those are gonna be upgraded kits. So this is what's in there on most of the basic ones. Now we do have a few kits that have the deep cup. So now I'm going to show you the difference from the shallow to the deep. So if you notice how much more meat is hanging down on the bottom side down here, what that means is you're going to have more meat hanging down, which means in the end a safer application. So if you're doing coil under all the way around, which would be where the coil sits on the bottom side, just like this right here. If you're doing coil under all the way around, a lot of people go with deep cups. And the reason they go with the deep cup is because it's safer, because it's further in, recessed in. And also, if you notice, watch the cylinder head right here, how it actually drops inside. So it actually give you a little bit more lay actually, compared to the shallow. So shallow is going to sit you at the very, very top of the cup. So you're going to gain, probably say about an inch of lay. Because in the end what happens is your donut is actually going to sit flat with the top of the cylinder nut, which is flat with the top of the cup. Compared to the shallow cup, where the shallow cup is going to sit high, and you're going to have this space right in between here, the cylinder nut down, and your donut's going to sit right here. So now, depending on what you plan on doing with the car, you might be perfectly fine with the shallow cup, and most people are. Now, if you plan on hopping a little bit more, you're going to probably want to go into a deep cup. Something that's going to be, snatch up really quick, you're going to want to go into a deep cup. And you could do deep cup front and rear, and you could also do coil under front and rear depending on your vehicle. Now, there is certain reasons why you should go into a coilover cup now. And we're going to keep this video pretty short because there's really not a lot to have to, we have to talk about on this, but we're going to try to make this as clear as possible. So now, coilover, or a deep reversed. I personally call it coilover. A lot of people call it deep reversed. We have them listed on our website as a coilover. And what that means is, as we were talking about before in a deep cup, this is standard, what people call old school, or coil under, where the coil sits literally under. So this is coil under. So that's the easiest way to remember. Coil under, coils under. Coil over, now that changes everything there. So now coil over, you're going to see, hopefully you can see that there. You got a power ball. And we're just going to slightly screw that in there just for the video's sake. And this is a coilover cup. The coilover cup is going to slide right over the cylinder. And that is going to be the complete setup right there. So this right here is going to be a coilover setup, or a coilover setup with a deep reverse cup. So depending on, honestly, region and where you're located, people call it different things. It's different terminology, but in the end, coilover cup, deep reverse cup is all the same thing. So a lot of guys you're going to see rolling around with deep coilover cup like this one. And the reason they do that is because your frame of the car is going to be pretty much pressing down right about here. There is no absolute way that this could fall out, compared to a deep cup where this is just sitting on top. This is going to be the safer route. So you'll see guys that are hopping, you'll see guys that are three-wheeling, you'll see guys running this in the rear of their car. And what this actually does, and there's a few different pros and cons on this. Now, a coilover cup is good for safety. Now, one of the downfalls on it is, well, if you notice, let's scoot this back a little bit. If you notice the gap difference between here, now this would have to either set on your trailing arm or the top of your rear end, the power ball. And so what's going to happen is now you lose about 4 finger distance. I got somewhat fat fingers, so about 3.5 finger distance. And you're going to lose that as far as how much coil you could put in there, and also height-wise. So now the car is going to sit slightly higher with this. Another downfall on coilover is now the shaft is moving strictly from the bottom, and this is sitting on the top. So what that means is this, every bump and dip and speed bump, or everything you hit on the freeway or the road, this cylinder is constantly going up and down. So now if that hole hasn't been cut with the hole saw or cut perfectly clean, what happens is you start getting that sound that I'm pretty sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that song with the bed in the beginning. So every time I think of that, I hear that, and it just kind of pops in my head like that damn song. I forgot who sings that. You guys know, comment down below. So that's the downfall. You get premature wear with the cylinder because it's constantly rubbing against metal. Metal against metal obviously is going to be abrasive, so it is going to chew at it. Especially if you have a high lockup, then what happens is every time you lock up, these cylinders are going to tend to rock a lot more. So it starts kind of oblonging the sheet metal. Now you'll see guys go and put uniballs or a piece of PVC. That's good, but what happens is now you end up with PVC shavings instead of the squeak. So it's like you kind of snowballs. One thing leads to another. Me personally, we cut the hole at the standard 1 3/4. We cut the sheet metal when we're doing coilover like at a 2.5. That way the sheet metal has clearance just in case this guy rocks back and forth upon lockup and lay. But that is what the coilover setup does. You're gaining safety, but sometimes what you lose is you're going to lose a little bit of time, honestly, because you're going to have to go in there and lift the car up, spray it with some grease, drop it down, spray it, to get that squeaking sound out of there. Now, not all cars squeak, not all of them squeak if they're on coilover. That is just one thing over time. Eventually, dry metal eventually will make some noise. But safety-wise, coilover is going to be the way you want to go if you're hopping or three-wheeling. Because when you three-wheel, the cylinder is going to push down. This coil can't fall. Let me take this out. If you try to three-wheel on a deep cup, which you can do, a lot of guys say you can't. You can do it, but you have to understand what you're doing. So we're going to keep that over there. This is back to the deep cup. Now, if you try to three-wheel on this, the cylinder is going to be lifting, from the shaft, pushing down. So you're going to see the shaft exposed as it lifts up. Now, if you three-wheel and you don't keep pressure on this coil, now it's the possibility as you come down, this guy could, not land in the coil correctly. You want to keep this deep cup in the coil at all times, obviously. That way your car doesn't fall to the ground. So that's why when you're three-wheeling, most guys are going to lean towards the coilover because it's just a safer way to do it. So that's kind of some of the things, between deep, coil, and shallow. Now, if you're choosing to, or if you're looking to buy a kit, you got to choose what you want. In the end, you got to just really figure out what you want to do. Now, there's a lot of guys like, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, because, shallow cups don't work for everybody. And coilover cups don't work for everybody. So, don't listen to other people. Do what you want to do. If you plan on three-wheeling and you plan on hopping the car, then I'm listing out the pros and cons pretty much. So, you take this information to figure out what's going to work best for you. Now, if you still don't quite understand all this, then we could go and we could still help you and walk you through it and guide you towards the the right kit for yourself. But there is still one more other option, and it's going to be back to coilover, but it is what we call a super deep coilover. So I'm just going to kind of slightly screw this guy back on there again and slide this super deep. And if you noticed before, the other coilover cup sat right about there, so you saw a little bit of power ball on the bottom. Notice that one. This one is designed to sit lower. So remember before we're talking about how you lose a little bit of like 3-finger clearance on height as far as laid because of the way this sits? Well, this is eliminating that issue now. This is going to make you lay an extra 1.25 inches lower than the shallow, or the standard deep coilover cup. When this guy slides over here, now, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but you can't see the power ball on the bottom side. It's under there. It's right there. But the way these are designed, they're designed to sit lower. That way, if you're looking to gain that extra 1.25 inches upon laid, then the super deep coilover cup is going to be what you want to, the route you're going to want to go. So again, each one of these have a different application. They have a different, pro and con towards it. Again, all this is going to fall down to really what you're looking to do. And you just got to be honest with yourself. A lot of guys, look at these, the kits and they go, the $11.99 kit or the $12.99 kit looks better than the $15.99 kit. Of course, everyone wants to save money. But realistically, if you're looking to buy a kit for $11.99, but you plan on three-wheel hopping, standstill three-wheel, that kit is probably not going to do what you're looking to do. Sorry, excuse me. Over here, got hiccups or something. So, you got to figure out what's going to work best for you. So that's why the reason for this video. We were trying to cover all the bases on basic introduction to hydros videos. There's a lot of stuff that we got to cover. If there's something, you guys are still watching this, if there's something that you want me to cover, toss it down in the comments below. I do read all those. So, if there's something that you want me to cover that is going to work best for a lot of people, or work out for other people, I'll probably hit that video. This video was actually on one of the comments, and I was like, yeah, why didn't I ever do that? So that's the reason why we're doing this video here. So again, a lot of guys are watching this and they're going, oh, obviously everyone knows that. No, obviously people don't know this. That's the reason why I'm doing this video. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, they talk down to people coming in, but they forget that at one point they were the ones coming in as well. So don't ever be, shy or nervous or anything to call us. Don't feel like your question is stupid, because, and I say this all the time, it's stupid if you don't ask the question and you mess something up and you'll cause yourself damage to yourself or to the car. Obviously, we don't want that. We want to make sure that whatever you're getting yourself into as far as hydraulics, air suspension, you understand, what you're getting into. The pros and cons. Obviously you like it, so you're interested in it. Now you just got to figure out refine your kind of your search in your head that you got going on to what's going to work best for you and your family while you're cruising out in the streets. Is it going to be the shallow cup? Is it going to be the deep cup? Is it going to be the coilover cup? Coilover cup. So I guess I'll kind of jump back to this. I'm going to go over this because people always go, how do I know the difference? Look at the holes. That's just a 1/2 inch hole in there. Obviously, a 1/2 inch hole is not going to fit an 1 5/8 cylinder. So you know that the shaft is... Oh, I look stupid, don't I? Here we go. Gotta take this off first. The shaft is going to be the one going into this 1 inch, and then the smallest hole in there is a 1/2 inch. So that's all coilover. So if you have a really small hole, or sorry, coil under. If you have a really small hole in your cups, those are going to be coil under cups. If you got big holes like this, those are going to be coilover cups. So that's kind of like the basics of this. Now we could go into more into detail and talk about the exact drop and the height difference and all that and give you measurements and specs, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys on information that realistically you really don't need, because this is just going to be stuff that to get your pretty much to get you going in the right route to buy a kit or purchase a kit or upgrade your kits or upgrade what you have in your vehicle now. So hopefully that helps you guys out. I'm always interested in making different videos for you guys. I try to do as many as I can. Now you gotta remember this does take up my own personal time. I do this off the clock, so I do this for you guys to make it easier for you. I also do it to make it easier for myself on a lot of tech questions I gotta answer. I just send them a link because it's a lot easier, and I go into more detail than I can through a DM. So again, if you guys don't follow, make sure you guys follow all of our pages. Hopefully this covers everything you guys are wondering about. Again, I want to make this video short, so we're going to kind of cut this off here around the 17-minute mark. So thank you guys always for watching, supporting. If you don't like what I'm doing, simple, get the hell off the page. It's very simple. If you love what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share this video on Facebook for other people, other riders that need help, that just want a little extra information, because remember, you're never done learning. If you think you're done learning, you're going to get passed right up.